Hey folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending June 9th. I'm thinking buyer's fatigue is hitting York Region. Okay, you know, I'm a full-time realtor working with buyers and sellers every day. Here's what I have experienced this week. We had 2 listings go out. One property, there's nothing like it for sale. Very few, if any, properties were for sale like it in the area. The other property had about 5 or 6 other similar properties in the neighborhood for sale. So the one with no properties, and both these listings we went live on the MLS kind of in the middle of the day around noon. Well, the one that had no other properties remotely like it for sale, so there was really no competition. We had showings already that evening, and the following day was fully booked, and in a matter of a day and a half, it was sold for way more than what the sellers expected. Extremely happy. The other one, well, we still have a few more days with that before we get it sold. However, it wasn't as aggressive. Because of the competition in the area, we had a showing, then we had a few more the next day. And showings are coming in what I would say is normal, but 2 different sellers, because of their neighborhood and competition, 2 different experiences. And I'm saying this because if you're looking to be on the market or you are on the market, pricing strategies is so important. Marketing strategy is so important. And you're not an island. You got to really take into account the competition around you. It's naive to think someone's only coming to look at your house and not the other properties. And they've maybe already seen the other properties. So you got to keep in mind you're doing one of 2 things if you're a seller coming on the market. You're either helping people sell their property or they're helping you sell yours. Just want to share that real quick with you. Let's get into the York Region market report. We're going to start off with condos, and I've got all condos summarized here for York Region, broken down on a weekly basis. Sales went down just a little bit. We sold 63 condos in York Region last week. We sold no properties at $1 million or more. Last week we sold 3. The week before that, 1, 4, then 2, then 2. So we're not really doing that many at $1 million or more, but there's always some. Last week, 0. No properties at $1 million or more. Average sold price has come down a little bit to $620,000, and $620 is, I don't know, it's kind of a little bit on the low side when we kind of look at the year as a whole. Average sold price generally has been going up for condos, but these last few weeks, last couple of months, it's really tricky to see which way. It looks like it's coming down a little bit, but we'll see over the next few weeks if that continues on as a trend. Compared to last year, tricky to do that, especially with the whole being told to stay at home, don't go out, and people trying to figure out this whole health crisis last year. But at this time last year, we were getting a little bit more comfortable. Things were starting to pick up real estate-wise. Average sold price for condos compared to last year is sitting at 9% higher than last year's average sold price. And 9% might seem, oh my, it's only 9%, because we've seen, 20, 28, 23. 9% is actually pretty good, but I guess we've all been spoiled with the double-digit 20 and 25% more than last year. So sales compared to last year are a little bit higher. But here's what's really interesting. Average sold price came down, but the amount of percentage of the condo selling at list price or more jumped up to kind of at 71%, higher than it's been for a few weeks now. And so competition, especially when you're talking the average price condo in the 600s, the high 5s, you're going to get competition. You're going to get people competing. You're going to get people paying. If it's priced properly, strategically, you're going to get people giving you what you're asking for right away. There's no need to negotiate big numbers. If you're negotiating really low off the list price, it probably wasn't priced correctly to begin with, or expectations were off there. Listings, here's interesting. We listed 124 new condos in York Region last week, which is lower than what it was last year at this time. And if you recall last year, the whole condo story, condos were coming onto the market. People thought prices were coming way down. Well, it changed, we could see, by about 9% last week as far as price goes. But we had a lot of condos coming onto the market, more last year than what we do this year. Active listings is up a little bit, and that changes months of inventory. So we're sitting at now 1.3 months of inventory for condos, up a little bit from where it was the previous week at 1. That helps to explain why average sold price has come down a little bit. 1.3 though is still very much a seller's market. It's not like they're giving condos away anytime soon in York Region. Now we're going to get into the detached market. We're going to talk about Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. I'm covering the major cities in York Region. Do me a favor, if you enjoy this video, you enjoy seeing these numbers, and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, share this video with your friends. It means a lot to us in what we do every day here. Okay, so we got Vaughan, detached properties. Sales are slightly lower than what they were last week. We sold 64 detached properties in Vaughan. The amount of properties selling at $2 million or more stayed the same as it did the previous week at 14. And average sold price has gone up a little bit, went up by about $50,000 from the previous week to $1,732,000 for the average detached property in Vaughan. And 1,732 is on the higher part of where we've been most of the year when it comes to related to average sold price for detached properties in Vaughan. Prices are strong in Vaughan. They don't seem to be going down anytime soon. Compared to last year, well, last year we sold 1 at this time at $2 million or more. This year we sold 14. We would expect, just based on that, average sold price to be much higher. And well, we're 23% higher than we were last year at this time. Of the 64 we sold this year, last year at this time we sold only 18. But of the 64, 61% sold at list price or more. Now, listings are pretty close to where we were this time last year. We've listed a little bit more this year at 107, and it's higher than what it was last year, which is the blue here, higher than what it was last week. But 107 is not by any means a week of lots of listings. It's okay compared to what we've been doing for the last few months, but it's not like, wow, tons of new properties have come on. 107, it kind of keeps active listings to about where it was before when you compare the sales and the new listings. But months of inventory is up by 0.1. So now it's sitting at 1.2 months of inventory. Very much a seller's market. Things haven't changed there. It's funny, the market has been so aggressive in some of the previous months that it feels calmer now, and it is, but it's still very much a seller's market. They're not giving away detached houses or condos or anything. It's still very much a seller's market in all fields. For Richmond Hill, 40 properties, 40 detached homes were sold last week, which is down from what it was the previous week at 50. And we sold 10 detached properties in Richmond Hill over $2 million, which is down a little bit from the previous week of 13. Average sold price has also come down to $1,717,000. Now, $1,717,000 is a bit on the lower side of where we've been for a good part of the year for detached properties in Richmond Hill. Compared to last year, well, last year, Richmond Hill was one of the cities that kind of pulled out of the whole health crisis a little bit sooner when it came to prices. And so we're sitting at only 3% higher at this. Now, this is one particular week, a snapshot in time. I don't want you to think, oh no, my detached house in Richmond Hill is worth so much less, and basically I've made no money in appreciation from last year. That's just not true. But we're taking a particular week in time, and well, it's 3% higher than what it was last year at this time. But if you look at some of the previous weeks, you're 38, 20%, 14% higher than where you were last year. Your neighborhood, your home type, what's going on in your community is really more important when it comes to figuring out your home's value than what I'm showing you. This is kind of a general summary to give you an idea of what's happening in the market. Of the 40 that were sold in Richmond Hill, 63% sold at list price or more. So somewhat aggressive, but not crazy in the 70s, but somewhat aggressive. 78 new detached properties came on the market in Richmond Hill last week, and months of inventory is sitting now at 2.1. Richmond Hill, as far as the three cities I'm talking about here, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, Richmond Hill has the highest months of inventory. And even some of the previous weeks, like we went to 2.3, 3.3. Right now we're sitting at 2.1 months of inventory. Still a seller's market. Prices are still strong. They're high. It's just there's less. The market is not as tight in Richmond Hill as it is in some of the other areas. Here we go for Markham. 69 detached properties were sold in Markham last week for week ending June the 9th, which is down from before. And for the last several weeks, actually, sales has been going up, and this is the first week in a little while where sales went down. And average sold price has come down for a couple of weeks in a row now. Last week, the average sold price was $1,623,000 for Richmond Hill. Now, 1,623 is a little bit on the lower end of where we've been for most of the year. So the next few weeks are going to be really important. Are we going to start to see a trend? Are we going to see prices kind of coming down a little bit? I didn't say drop. I know each time I mention this, some people say, oh, the market's crashed. There's no crash. I'm not talking that. It's just calming down. It could be with the fact that we sold 7 properties in Richmond Hill at $2 million or more, and the previous week we sold more than double that at 15, and we were selling 14 and 13, and well, just the way mathematics work, if you got more of the higher end properties being sold, overall it brings up the average sold price. So maybe that's the reason why prices have dropped a little bit there. Compared to last year, we're sitting at 24% higher than we were at last year's price. And I say that so, like as a casual matter of fact, 24%, these are huge numbers, 24%, 28%. Keep in mind where we were as a society last year at this time. But, these are big numbers percentage-wise. 69 new were on sale. Sorry, of the 69 that were sold, 65% sold at list price or more. We listed 82 detached properties in Markham last week. That's less than what we listed this time last year. We listed only 91, and 82 is the lowest week we've had in several months of new listings. Are things coming down? Well, it's 1 week. Let's see what happens over the next few weeks to see, hey, are less properties coming on the market? But is buyer demand picking up, or is buyer demand also calming down? And all this it's all relative, right? Months of inventory went up just by a little bit. We're sitting at 0.8 months of inventory, a very, very tight market. And the fact that it went up kind of sort of helps us to explain why average sold price has come down. Not as much as it has. I believe a lot just has to do with, buyers are they're tired, and mind is also focused on so many other wonderful things that are happening right now, like us starting to open up the economy, and also buyers that have been looking for a while. They've been beat up for several months, for a good part of a year now. So it seems to be like, you know what? Let's calm, let's take a breath. That's the feeling I get from being on the field with sellers and buyers every day as a realtor. When I summarize the areas, months of inventory, even though if it's just a little bit, has basically gone up in each of the regions across York Region. Is that a sign? Maybe, but I can't just, draw a line in the sand and say, oh, so much has changed. 1 week to a next, what we want to see is over a span of time, what's happening. That's our report for York Region. Hope it helps you out in somehow. If you have any questions, please give me a call. I'm happy to help. My name is Santo Sessa with RE/MAX Premier. Have a great day.